I talked to this girl for about a month before we went on a date. I am active duty military and just moved back home, transitioning out. She seemed very kind and genuine. I am 23 and she is 25. She insisted we drove separately. I met her at her car and walked to the restaurant, held the door for her, asked every question, paid for the meal, walked her back to her car and said drive safe. I was very respectful and engaging, and it was a very nice Italian restaurant. Not a cheap date or lack of effort. She did not say thank you once and did not ask one question. After about 30 minutes of asking her questions, I decided to wait to speak to put the ball in her court. Still not one question. I had to break the silence with another question. I told her to pick an appetizer. She picked bruschetta. She says, I do not like tomato, and does not touch it. I asked if she liked her food. She says, it was different, and did not return a single question. I did not text her afterwards, and she has not texted me. Is this how dating is nowadays? I have not been on a date in about a year because I did not want a date in a temporary location. It will be very disheartening if this is how it is now. Thanks for all the advice, guys. Did not think this would blow up the way it did. Next time, I will bring my date to a 5-star sushi restaurant. I am joking. Story 1. Even before the internet, you always risked having a lame date. Sorry she was a dud. It happens. Better luck next time. Not with her. Move on to someone else who has more grace and gratitude. Story 2. She could just be rude or extremely awkward. Sometimes you don't do anything wrong, and things just don't flow. Dating is hard right now. With the rise of online dating applications, beautiful men and women are just one swipe away. And everybody thinks they can find someone better all the time. But good and genuine people are still out there. So don't feel discouraged after just one failed date. We've all been there. Things will get better if you keep trying. Story 3. And it was a very nice Italian restaurant. Not a cheap date or lack of effort. Not a good idea for a first date unless you really do not care about money at all. Did this girl give you any signs that she liked you before the date? It seems like you should know if you were talking for a month already. Story 4. Fancy dinner date as a first date? First mistake. Just bring her to a coffee date. If she complains about it because you don't spend enough on her, you have your answer. Story 5. Nah, I'm a woman and I say thank you for every little thing while dating, while in a relationship, and even when I'm single. You got used and she's trash. Story 6. It can be like that if you let it. Next time, pick a date that is low pressure and commitment, especially if it's someone you've met online. Go for coffee, a drink, ice cream, a walk, or similar, and keep it about an hour long. Call it date 0. The only intention here is to feel out the vibe between you two. That way, if it's not a match, then you've only lost an hour of your time and at most $20. By all means, if the date is going great and neither of you have elsewhere to be, then keep it going. From there, you can start investing in pricier and more creative dates because you have a better idea of how you two vibe. Good luck. Story 7. I have never once in my life had a good experience using dating apps. The best experiences were always by meeting people organically, either through school, work, or friends. I met my current girlfriend because she was my tattoo artist. It offered lots of time to sit and talk for hours. Ironically, I was friends with her sister, and she is the one who helped get us together. Every other girl I've met in my life and had some kind of relationship with was always a friend first. I can't take good pictures, I can't smile on cue, I can't fake emotions, so I do not look good on dating profiles. However, when people meet me in real life, see the work I do, how I live life passionately, and hear me speak, everything changes. I become attractive once someone knows me. I feel that is what is missing from online dating. It is all just a shallow, vapid, and toxic way to meet people. It is not natural at all. There is so much more that goes into attraction that cannot be emulated through a glass screen. Story 8. I had a date like that recently. We met at a restaurant. I tried to keep the conversation going while she literally scrolled her phone. After a while, I politely asked her if she wouldn't mind leaving the phone alone so we could talk. She put it down for about 5 minutes and then went back to it. I assumed it was her way of telling me she wasn't interested in me, so I stopped trying. After we finished, we went our separate ways, and I didn't bother texting her. She texted me a couple of days later, said she had a great time, and wanted to know when we would get together again. That's when I realized she was just looking for free meals. I didn't bother to respond to her text and never heard from her again. Chalked it up to experience and moved on. Story 9. Do not do dinner as a first date. I always start with a coffee, a drink, or some kind of event that is not a sit-down meal. If she takes issue with that, that is her letting you know to throw that fish back in the pond. Story 10. It was just a bad date. It happens. Bad dates have been a thing forever. You pretty much described a date I had as a teenager in the 1990s. Welcome to what dating has always been. Dating applications have conditioned people to treat relationships like buying something off of Amazon. People now can just filter through hundreds of profiles and then expect anything that eventually makes its way to a meetup to be perfect. Story 11. Opinion as a woman. I knew people in their mid to early 20s who literally used the dating app for free dinners. Very disgusting behavior. Don't do expensive meals for the first few dates. Coffee or tea dates during the day are the best. Keep the first date short in case you don't vibe. Be prepared to get ghosted, but don't take it personally. It's just the dating culture now, unfortunately. A reminder that if a woman is interested, you'll definitely hear back from her. Good luck. Story 12. I don't care, but if someone doesn't say thank you, forget them. I am not dealing with someone with manners like that, and that goes for everyone. Go treat yourself one of these days. Go on a hike, eat at a restaurant or burger joint, buy some clothes, spend time with friends and family. Bless yourself. Story 13. Brother, do yourself a favor and start out with a coffee date first. A lot of this could have been avoided by sussing things out with Starbucks coffee. But unfortunately, it sounded like a meal ticket meet. If someone is after a meal and complains about the coffee date, then it's best not to continue. Good luck out there, it's super rough and you have the odds stacked against you. Story 14. No, this is how dating has always been. This sounds like a few dates I went on when I was single roughly 14 years ago. Awkward people are awkward in person even if they seem chatty over the phone or via text. Story 15. I've been on 30 dates since my breakup in December 2023 and haven't had a single date like this. Never have a meal on a first date. Don't go to pricey places unless you're into flaunting your wealth, which as a 23-year-old military guy you shouldn't be. Go for tea or to a cheap bar. Anyone who wants or expects more is going to be like this woman. If the date is going poorly, say you aren't feeling it and leave. This is part of why you should always drive separately. Your time is valuable, and you owe nothing to someone if they're new and wasting your time. Value yourself. You should not bring yourself down just to get a date. Keep in mind some people will want to marry you quickly to take advantage of your military status. Avoid those people. After so many dates, I now vet people a lot more before wasting my time and money because women 90% of the time or more will not offer to pay for anything. If you aren't getting vibes you like before the date via texting, calls, or whatever, don't do it. My buddy often does video chats before dates to make sure the vibe is good. I don't personally because that sounds really weird, but it works for him and he does very well. Story 16. 1. You can't judge the whole dating scene based on one date. If possible, interact more before the date so you'll know if you're even compatible to invest a few hours of your day with that person. Don't go for a fancy meal on the first date. This is a big one. Just because you hold a door and pay for a meal doesn't mean you're entitled to anything. Don't get mad if she doesn't have the common decency to say thank you. Just recognize that this is not a person you'd want to date, wish her the best, and move on. Don't expect anything from people. Just be happy when you find the ones that reciprocate your efforts and keep them in your life. Bitterness is never good. You seem like a really interesting guy. Go meet people who are interested in you. Story 17. As a general rule, unless you feel like she earned it, do not take her to an expensive restaurant as a first date. I just cannot see a good reason for it. Do as others mentioned here, ice cream, coffee, walk in a park, and so on. If you think dating her was a waste, I would disagree. You discovered that she was not for you and did not meet your standards. Keep going and you will find someone worthwhile eventually. Story 18. Bro, why don't you just ask her? What are you afraid of? There's always going to be another girl. But if you respect yourself enough, communicate with them and ask them why they were so quiet. Edit. Here's the text phrase just for you. Hey there, just curious. Why did you never engage with me at dinner or after? I would have liked for you to ask me questions. Were you interested in me? Or were you just there for the meal? If you like her, then add. I was hoping you'd be interested in hanging out again. Story 19. I had the same experience last year. I went on dates and I was the one entertaining her. I took her on 3 dates just to give her the benefit of the doubt. At the end of the day, she says I don't listen. You are the one who acted like a dud and didn't speak. I just tried to make the whole thing not weird. Do we sit and just stare at each other? Story 20. Damn, next time take me. Sounds like it had the potential to be a great date. Sorry it didn't end that way. I would say maybe she was nervous, but that's giving grace. Story 21. Welcome to modern dating, brother. If you're a man with money, be prepared to be used as a free meal ticket. Women can't do it themselves, so they pretend to like you for months or years, and one day she'll just take half your stuff and walk away. Story 22. Don't give up, brother. There are good ones out there. I'm 38, and it took me most of that time to find the right one. My suggestion, after years of experience dating all types of women, is to stick with the ones who have a strong family base. The ones whose parents are still married and happy. Story 23. First dates are always a gamble. I don't really agree with the go for coffee as a first date either. You need to show some kind of effort, but it doesn't have to be a $100 dinner. I'll do a low-commitment first date, but I also make sure that I put in effort to show that I am interested in what dating me is going to be like. If I'm taking her for coffee, I'm taking her to my favorite coffee spot with the barista that I personally know. Or I'll find a cool event that I think we will both enjoy. Ideally, one that allows us to talk and get to know each other, or at least to meet up 45 minutes before the show starts so we can chat then. If I'm suggesting a walk somewhere, then there better be a cool destination to check out. That could be a park festival, some kind of pop-up shop, or an area that I know will be interesting to walk through and is a place they've never been. Story 24. Jesus, as a woman myself, I am really sad that there are women out there who are like this. I don't really know enough women to tell you that it's not all of us, but I can at least assure you that I'm certainly not that way. So if there's one, there's bound to be others. I'm sorry that you had to deal with this entitlement and disrespect. I'm glad I don't have to deal with the dating scene either, but apparently, according to this post and the stories I hear about women, men have it just as bad as we do, even if for different reasons. I hope you have good luck with your future endeavors. Story 25. The first thing I thought was, here's a woman who just lays there when you're making love to her. Next time, just meet for coffee. You'll know in 20 minutes if you want to see her again, and it's a perfectly appropriate suggestion. If she objects or complains, there's your sign. Story 26. Where are you and what did you know about this girl before this date? We're not of the same generation, but I'm imagining there's more to this whole interaction and you're just looking for validation. Whatever comes from random internet strangers who know nothing of you, this girl, or where you're from, would it really make any difference? Story 27. Never do a dinner first date. Today, there is likely a 90% chance your first date will go nowhere. So don't be the sap giving free meals to random women. Don't spend money on women until they prove themselves worthy of having money spent on them. Story 28. I feel you, man. Had this happen to me recently. The best part is the girl showed up in a Porsche 911 and is in medical school. A lot of gay men and transgender women love all of you, think I'm very attractive, but this girl just wasn't having it at all. You'd think I just climbed out of my mom's basement with her level of disengagement. Story 29. Honestly, I wonder if she felt out of place and was extremely uncomfortable as a result. People with anxiety can have the most confusing thought processes when they let their anxiety get the best of them. The fact that she ordered the appetizer but didn't eat it meant that she probably didn't know what she was ordering. If that's the case and she didn't talk to you about it, it could mean she was nervous about seeming uninformed about nicer things. She may have started off the evening nervous because of differences in your lives so far. She's older than you, but you're already completing a tour in the military. I don't know if you were ever outside of the country, but if you were and she's never left the United States, then that could also add to it. Finally, maybe she hasn't texted because she knows she blew it. But this is a lot of maybes. Or maybe she wasn't that interested and you should move on. But what would you lose if you texted her once before writing the night off as a loss? Story 30. Honey, as a heterosexual cisgender woman, she was not interested. No woman would act like that if they are genuinely interested. Even when I'm not interested, I still try to be a decent date. She just sounded like she doesn't even care. Story 31. I didn't think this post would become so popular. I appreciate all the advice, everyone. I'll make sure to bring a girl to a 5-star sushi place next time instead. I'm joking. Story 32. Sorry, original poster, you were just used to get a free meal. There's a ton of garbage out there to dig through, and it isn't getting any better. You just need to have standards and expectations. Don't spend a lot of money or take women out on fancy dates unless and until you two are serious, and don't ignore small signals like her not engaging in the conversation or being enthusiastic about it. Story 33. It's not an uncommon experience. Next time, don't do a meal for a first date. Ice cream, boba, coffee, museums, etc. are all better places to go and save money too. Story 34. Definitely had some of those. I know it's in our nature to be the gentleman and do everything and pay for everything, but unless you want that forever, I would try to figure out what type of person she is before spending too much time and money and whether or not you want to put more time and money into her. Talking for a month without her showing any meaningful interest to meet up would have been my red flag, and I would have moved on to the next person. Fine line between giving everyone a fair shot in person and wasting your time and money. Story 35. I'll assume you're both under 30. If you had used your phone and texted her, as she's sitting right in front of you, she would have been communicating in her mind. Oh my God. You wanted to talk to her face to face? How dare you?